Yes, the title of my paper is Evaluating 2 decades of open and distance learning at National Open University of Nigeria, the access, quality, and outcomes. So as I've said, I'm evaluating 2 decades of open and distance learning at National Open University of Nigeria, the outcome, the access, quality, and outcomes of the program. The emergence of the ODL in the National Open University of Nigeria actually formed the baseline for this evaluation study. And we realized that before now emerge as a strategy, as a single mode open and distance learning institution, the university education in Nigeria was predominantly conventional residential universities. So the university education then, faced a lot of several structural and systemic challenges, which include limited access in higher education, to the extent that admission was so competitive and leaving many qualified learners without any placement. Another problem there then was inadequate institutional capacity. When you talk of infrastructural facilities and some other things, they were inadequate to serve the number of people demanding for higher education learning then, university education learning then. Then exclusion of non-traditional learners, the admission of those non-traditional learners were very limited. When you talk of people with disabilities, working adults, then incarcerated persons, the admission there was very limited, even nothing for those in prison as at that time. Then we have inequalities in educational opportunities. There are some regions in Nigeria that we have gender disparities. So all these problems were there, and there was a policy framework. That actually recognized the needs to expand access of university education. So now that this policy now look for the alternative, to actually call for ODL that could take care of all these problems mentioned. And that was what actually led to the establishment of National Open Universities in National Open University of Nigeria in 1983. But it was by 1984, it was suspended and later reestablished in 2002. So shortly after that, the National Open University was reestablished in 2002. Yes, the achievement have been there are a lot of achievements recorded by National Open University of Nigeria. Over the past 2 decades, the National Open University of Nigeria has actually recorded significant milestone in advancing open and distance learning education. When you talk of expansion of inclusive access, at the beginning when the National University was established, we have just less than 10,000 students in enrollment, but now we have over 500,000 enrollments presently. And not that alone, we are be able to expand the access of our ODL, open and distance learning, down to the incarcerated persons. Like last year, I did a study about these inmates people. They were so happy, and we have really gone ahead. Really taking care of them. Even some years ago, One of them was even the best graduating student. You know, he graduated with a very high CGPA. So, and their enrollment have been expanding so much well in the prison, and that was why we have correctional study centers across the nation. And not that alone, integration of digital learning technology and contribution to lifelong learning and workforce development. Now, for the higher education challenges, as I've said, was so enormous as before the re-establishment of National Open University of Nigeria. And the role of National Open University was revitalized, to expand higher education through open and distant learning, and has grown significantly in enrollment. As I've told us, we are over 500,000 enrollment. We have over 500,000 enrollment. And the national, we reach every region to take care of even marginalized community. But in spite of that, despite all this expansion, concern remains regarding equitable participation, digital infrastructure, learning support services, and instructional qualities in our technology-mediated learning environment. Now, this now calls for the need for the researcher, to actually evaluate our activities in terms of access, in terms of quality, and in terms of outcome so far for the past 20 decades that we have been existing as a National Open University Institute of Nigeria. So there is need for us, for the researcher to actually go into the evaluation of this study. Now, we have 3 research questions that actually captured all of these evaluation process that I'm talking about, that the researcher is talking about. The research question number 1 captured the access. Research question 2 captured quality. And the last research question captured the outcome. And this is the model for this evaluation. We have access, quality, outcome model. And each of these points here have a lot of subtitles that actually captured the whole study that the researcher is doing. Like for the under access, we have inclusion, we have flexibility, equity, and affordability, that students will be able to pay the school fees without any stress. And even for the inmates, we extended scholarship to all of them. And for the quality, we want to actually see how our technology, has been able to enhance this to enhance the learning and smooth running of the students' program, and the pedagogy, the method we are adopting, and the quality assurance to actually checkmate how all these things are be running to meet international standard and learning support, like counseling. We have all those things in place in our different study centers. Mind you, we have almost 128 study centers across the nation, well equipped with physical resources and material resources. And the outcome, what has been the outcome of this, through the employability and workforce development, long-life learning, and the human capital. Then this study used mixed method design, that is qualitative and quantitative. And the sampling technique used was purposive sampling. And these are the 7 categories of people that the researcher actually ran through to get all the necessary data, information needed for the whole evaluation. We have students, about 332 students. For the student, because they are the larger part of the category, we have qualitative and quantitative and qualitative for them. We have facilitators or lecturers, we have study center directors, we have Directorate of Examination and Assessment, we have Directorate of Academic Planning, we have Directorate of Learning Management System, and the Pioneer Vice Chancellor of the university. Then the instruments, we have 7 instruments. The researchers have 7 instruments, to gather data for this evaluation. And descriptive, such as frequency counts, standard deviation, mean, was used to analyze the quantitative, while thematic analysis using Atlas TI software was used for the analysis of the qualitative. Now, this is the findings of the evaluation work. For the students, we have the first quantitative results that over 75 of the respondents, agreed that NAO's admission policy made the higher education accessible for all levels of learners. And then for the flexibility, we have 75% of the students, response that program allows a combination of education with work, family, and the other responsibilities. And while we have over 78% of the respondents that agree that the fees structure and payment, it wasn't a problem. There was no barrier for the enrollment. And we have over 84% that confirm well-designed course materials and learning management support. Now we have the thematic results that the thematic analysis that actually show the response of all the 7 categories. This one is for access, how now expanded access to higher education for diverse learners. The 7 categories of people, addressed, actually told the researcher that flexible and inclusive admission structure, it was so wonderful. And there is flexibility for non-traditional learners to fulfill NAO's mandate. And geographical access through study centers, to capture the marginalized community now actually be doing wonderfully there. And the digital access to learning resources, has been also captured. Then this one also captured the quality, the institution now monitoring through the quality assurance mechanism and the continuous assessment, through tutor marked assignment and TMA, and then structured institutional design processes and the adoption of a digital learning platform. Then this also captured the outcome of the research. This is the response from all this. So let's quickly run through, because of a time, to look at the specific, those categories that actually contributed to the analysis just summarized there. For the Directorate of Examination and Assessment, the researcher was told, through interview, on our assessment system actually support a large geographical dispersed learner. And to capture the quality of NAO's program, by the directorate, the DEA people, we were made to know that examination and tutor marked assignment actually improved the assessment of the students, efficiently, because you can use your phone, you can use even anywhere you are, you can access, you can actually do your TMA without any stress, because it is a mobile, user friendly. Then, so for the fact that the TMA contributed to 30% of final results and encouraged continuous learning, students, actually were motivated to do well, and this has actually been helping them. And the auto-marked TMA, immediately they finish the TMA, they already know the result, and that what we prompt them to prepare for the next, because the TMA is not just at once for 30 minutes, for 30%, for 30 marks. It is 10, 10, 10 at 3 different times. So for you not to do well in the first one, you will have to, prepare again, because you will immediately get the feedback. And this actually improves transparency and ability and reliability in the large-scale student evaluation. Then we have, for the Directorate of Academic Planning, they're actually in charge of, accreditations and some other stuff. So for the access, the study center also serve the region hubs for academics and administrative support. And the academic program, is so much designed to actually capture the needs of the learner and to actually make them to be productive even after leaving the school, the study. Then the curriculum developed align with the learning objectives and the content and the assessments and the periodic review, because we have accreditation from time to time to actually standardize our academic performance, and the program structure meets the labor market and the national developments. For the facilitators and lecturers, actually the digital facilitation allowed the teaching beyond the geographical limitation, and beside that, the support seamless online facilitation and student engagement is quite interactive to actually encourage students to participate very well. So we have it's actually improved the student participation and the like. Then we also have the Directorate of Learning Management System. These are the people that are in charge of the learning management system. They were also interviewed, and they claimed that the LMS, Learning Management System, actually enable access to learning materials, and facilitators monitor participation and upload instructional resources, and students develop digital literacy. People who are not able to, do some things on the computer, they will be able to learn so many skills and it makes the study to be self-directed. Then we have study center directors too. The centers assist learners with a limited internet access, to participate in the program. And there is also academic guidance. Every study center have counselors, for learner support system, so that to enable them to perform well. And by this, students will be able to complete the program, successfully. And the pioneer vice chancellor also participated in the interview too. He actually ascertained the mission and the vision of now being accomplished, though he said they are still trying more to make sure that now C gets to where they still want him to. So the vision emphasized modern distance education technology and expanded educated workforce across multiple sectors, that people, working class, they were now able to advance in their career pursuit. So in conclusion, to summarize all the categories of people that actually participated in this evaluation study, in conclusion, across all respondent categories, the findings consistently show that the open and distance learning model of the National Open University of Nigeria, has actually expanded access, strengthened instructional quality through technology, and produced meaningful outcomes in workforce development and human capital. Thank you for listening.